after we're done. So it's just such a pleasure. Absolutely.
Well, great. Yeah, thanks for joining us. And it looks like you're calling us from St. Louis tonight.
I'm calling you from my hotel room at the Grand Marriott here in downtown St. Louis, and you are calling from your home in Utah. There,
yeah,
I can tell. It's and you have a smile on your face, and I know that it's great to know that your newborn baby is healthy and
thank you
and adorable. And I know that that's something that makes you extremely happy. Mario was, those of you that are starting to listen in on the call here, Mario had a brand new addition to his family, and he was absent from our call last week. And that's a good excuse. And so you're given the excuse. You're off.
Didn't have any option there. I was actually in the hospital. So
right.
The baby was born that same day. And so
congratulations.
It's really very, very exciting. Thank you very much. And Jef, always a pleasure having you on the phone every Thursday night. It's something that I look forward to. I appreciate you so much. You really work hard for your group, and you work hard for everyone to advance and to help them build their business following the sustained prosperity system. So I really appreciate that. We're looking at another great call tonight, and we have a guest speaker, Todd. I say Falcone. Is it with the E, like Italian?
It's Falcone. Absolutely.
Okay. We have Todd Falcone on the line tonight, and he's going to share with us his wisdom. Looking forward to hearing from him. And the next few weeks, we really have some great other speakers lined up. But I want to let you know and appreciate you all joining us that this is a safe zone. It's a zone where we don't talk about companies, we don't talk about products, but we talk about principles, and we help you build your business. Also want to remind you that this call is being recorded, and the recording calls I've found that are very popular, and a lot of sharing going on with the recording calls. We understand that everyone is very busy. Also want to remind you that it's important to register. If you have not registered already, we encourage you to do so. That way you get notifications right before the calls, that reminders. And then also after the call, you will get the recorded call through the registration process. So some important reminders, but Jef, I know we have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm excited about the subject, what you should know but don't know about network marketing. So excited about that.
Absolutely. Well, let's get started. Absolutely. The sustained prosperity system is created for one thing, and that's obviously within the name, sustained prosperity system. There's so many people who join network marketing, and so many people who fail. And that's why we created this program many years ago. I was holding up some old sheets of the old sustained prosperity system that I used to hand out many years ago, and it's modified now, updated to where it applies not only to one country but to all countries if you will apply it to what you do with the tools that your company provides. And sustained prosperity is exactly what it means. We want you to sustain. We don't want you just to reach prosperity and then be broke tomorrow. And so we have some great guests that are coming on every week almost. Occasionally we'll have a break from that, and I'll be coaching you exclusively, just me, and I did that for the last 2 weeks. And this month is amazing. Todd Falcone tonight, next week, Big Al, Tom Schreider, major legend, in my opinion. I was talking about Big Al before I even knew his name was Tom Schreider. I was talking about Big Al when I was just a young networker. He was like a legend when I was younger, and I'm thinking, this guy never ages. He just lives forever. As much as we talked about him being a legend when I was younger, he should be like 250 years old now. It's just amazing. So anyway, Big Al Tom Schreider is going to be our guest next week. The week after that, we have Orrin Woodward, and Orrin Woodward is known by many people, and if you don't know him, you're going to know him for his special attention on certain things, and his lessons that he's teaching right now and the subjects that he's focusing on right now is getting out of debt and being debt free and being free, not being bound to your your obligations that you have piled onto your life and the bondages that you've put onto your life. And that is obviously something that helps people sustain their prosperity as well, because it keeps them from getting into a financial bind. And the next week after that, our last Thursday night of this month, we're going to have a lady that is a leader, that is, in my opinion, one of the greatest networkers in as far as male or female, Margie Alaprende. She's going to talk to you and talk to the heart of the people, because that's exactly what her characteristics is all about. She has a big heart. She knows how to reach your heart. She knows how to touch your heart. And those of you that are ladies that are listening in on the call, or men, she's going to touch your heart. But women, be ready, because you're going to have a woman that is going to absolutely be your adversary, your ambassador, your representative in the network marketing profession as she speaks to us on the last Thursday night of this month. But tonight we have Todd Falcone. Now, before we get into that, I'm just going to tag a short lesson within our Sustained Prosperity System and talk about what a lot of people don't talk to you about. That's what we do here. We touch base. We touch your brain. We get into the subjects that many times most people just don't talk about. They want to talk about the fluff. They want to talk about the great things that are happening within the company. If you ever get on a typical company conference call, if you've ever noticed this, and this is what the company should do, we should be teaching. The profession, the leaders should be teaching what we teach. But the company, when they get on their conference calls, they are supposed to do certain things. They're not supposed to get real deep. They're supposed to be very encouraging, everything positive, everything about the product, talking about ingredients, talking about what, why you should use the products. And you're going to hear a lot of what I call fluff, what I call euphoric phone calls, where you have these typical calls where people call into the company and they're going to hear a few testimonials about how this person went from here to here and how it changed their life. And, oh, wow, I'm just so glad I'm part of the company. That's not what you hear on this call. Those are great calls. Those are needed. But what we're doing here, we're talking about things that you don't usually hear that help you grow. And I truly believe that this profession called network marketing, multi-level marketing, direct sales, is a leadership factory. So our subject today, what you don't normally hear, we're going to hear it. Okay, now I want to talk to you about the terminology of attrition and retention tonight. Attrition and retention. Those are Greek words to most people in network marketing. You don't even know what it is. First of all, let's talk about residual income a little bit, because we've spoken on this recently. I don't want to spend a lot of time on that, but residual income is when you build an organization, and it's not just about the upfront packages where you have those fast start bonuses or the big packages where you get those extra bonuses, but when it levels out, and you have a large enough organization that your income is stable, that's when you truly can gauge and put a thermometer on your income. Your residual income is when your team builds up to the point where you have a substantial check, a residual income that you can survive or live on, or subsidize the current income that you have wherever you are. If you want to keep your job, that's fine. Or if you're full-time in the profession, you obviously want to have enough substantial income. Don't base your income on startup packages. Don't base your income on what new product just came out and you have this big splash and this big explosion of volume this month because the company come out with a new product and it was announced and all these packages were ordered because you got excited about this new product coming out. So those kind of things are not true factors that you need to go on when you're truly trying to gauge what your true income is. Your true income in network marketing should be based on what I call residual income that is based on ADOs or auto direct orders or auto ships or direct ships. Those are the monthly typical smaller orders that people buy, whether they're a distributor, a brand partner, a representative, or customer, preferred customer, whatever it may be. Repetitious, ongoing orders That's what you base your success on. It's not the one-time orders. It's the residual ADOs. That's what you're going to be able to understand what you're truly making. If you try to base it off of explosive growth, you're going to get in a mess. You're going to depend on it, and then you're going to go full-time. You're going to quit your job. You think you're there, and then all of a sudden next month or the month after that, when your team is no longer being a startup, it's no longer opening up a country, it's no longer opening up a new order system around a new product. Like last month in March, we just had a big explosion in our company because we just announced a new product in Korea. And because of that, our volume went up almost $2 million just in Korea because of a new product coming into our hands. Now, that's great. That helps the income, that helps their checks, that helps their monies, and they're excited about it. It helps their rank even. But they need to get busy and work fast to be able to maintain and to keep that build up so it becomes strong over what we call an ADO, or a substantial monthly purchase that comes in every month. That's what residual income is all about. Now, I want to talk about retention, and retention is extremely important, and attrition is also important to understand. So I want you to picture in your mind that you are seeing this beautiful clawfoot tub in the middle of a beautiful bathroom, okay? Clawfoot tub. That clawfoot tub represents your business. That's your business, that clawfoot tub. Now remember something about the clawfoot tub. It doesn't have a stopper or a drain stop. It has a drain hole, and that hole is never stopped up. It's always open. The way that I teach someone that they need to really advance in network marketing is the first 90 days when someone comes into their team, you need to focus on their business that first 90 days especially to get them started. Why? Because picture that clawfoot tub as being your business. That's the shell of your business. The drain's open, and you walk up and you turn the faucet on every time that a new customer comes into your business, and you turn it off. Another order, more water. Guess where the water goes? It goes into the tub. It gets the tub wet. You don't have a towel drying it off. It's wet. But there's a percentage of your business called attrition that goes down the drain. You don't keep everyone. Just like if you owned and we use this as an example, you own a fudge shop. Just because someone comes into your fudge shop and buys fudge, it doesn't mean they're ever going to come back and buy fudge again. Maybe it's a one-time order. Did you know that there's a very high percentage in many companies that people, when they join a company or they buy product from a company, many times they're only buying 1, 2, 3 times and you never see them again. So there's a percentage of people that never stay consistent. Maybe they changed their credit card, or maybe their credit card maxed out, or maybe they just can't afford it any longer and they just don't renew their order. They don't renew their new card numbers, and you don't follow up and you don't keep them abreast of everything that's going on, and therefore they fall off. So you have attrition. Attrition means people have come and now they're leaving. So the concept of the drain being open, I want you to understand how to manage this. The more people that you have turning the faucet on this clawfoot tub, that means eventually you have a big enough team that the faucet stays on. That's your key. That first 90 days is to move forward to where you have enough people turning that faucet on to your business. Enough orders, enough people joining, enough people staying on ADO every month. So that eventually, every month those orders come in, and it never allows, you have enough of it happening that it never allows that faucet to be turned off. And there's more water going into the tub than is going out of the tub. The water going into the tub that never goes out of the tub, let's talk about that. If you have more water going in than going out, the water starts filling up in the tub. Now, that's still at risk because you have to manage that. You have to train those people. You must put your attention to these people and nurture them to get them to where they are self-sufficient. This is a leadership factory. You need to help them to become you. Over a period of time, if you do it correctly, the tub's going to keep rising and rising with water, and it's going to overflow, and it's going to go into the bathroom. It's going to go into the floor, the room that beautiful claw tub is in. Those people, once they have overflown into the room, they'll never go away. You have those loyal people that will never go anywhere. Eventually, they're there if you do it right. But those that are in the tub, you have to constantly feed the machine of building your organization and keep that momentum going, keep that energy going, keep that excitement going, but especially keep the nurturing and the training going of building with a system so that everyone knows the importance of staying dedicated for a period of many months, not just 1 month. You need to follow up, not just to recruit and sponsor, but follow up to help people stay established and create the correct behaviors to where they become habitual. And once that happens, they will eventually become a continuous stream of income for your business. This is called retention. Retention is important, and that's how you build a residual income. Now, I want that to be food for thought tonight as we go into the rest of our call, the rest of our broadcast. And I'd like to say it's an honor to have a friend of mine, Todd Falcone, as our featured guest on the Sustained Prosperity webcast tonight. Todd is, in my opinion, one of the guys who can rub your fur the wrong direction and make you uncomfortable. And I like that. In fact, many people know me as that in some ways, and that's okay. It's okay to make you feel uncomfortable. Someone walked up to me tonight in the lobby, said, I met you years ago, and honestly, you were the most eccentric a-hole I have ever met at that time, and I thought you were absolutely the most, I mean, she was just like, I was sitting there taking her words, and I was listening to her, and I said, you know, everything you've said about me, I agree. In my years past, when I was younger, it was much worse than it is now. And you probably, she said, no, you're nothing like what you were before. I said, I'm still like that. I guarantee it. In 5 years from now, someone's going to even give me more compliments because I've mellowed out even more. I'm sure I've mellowed out. My nickname, as I've told many of you in Japan, is Ubakatari, which means big asshole. And I understand that. And Todd probably knows that side of me. I can be probably the most direct person you could probably ever imagine, but I have tried to back off some. Todd pulls it off in a much more different way. He gets by with it, and he's able just to go straight to the jugular many times. One of the reasons is because he doesn't really represent a company. He represents Todd Falcone and the way that he trains people to be professional, and therefore all these different companies bring him in to mentor their teams, to mentor their staff, to mentor their organizations, to help those people become successful. So he doesn't really do the company thing. He's not really that distributor that goes out there and tries to build the residual income. He is one of the very few elite, exclusive trainers in the network marketing profession that has been able to build his profession up of coaching and mentoring within our profession throughout all the different companies without really representing any company. And I have to say, you know, kudos to you, Todd, for that. I know we've had times on cruises together. We've had times in conventions together. We've had times in meetings together. We've had times in so many different scenarios. We've let our hair down, what little hair we've got left. And we've had a great time doing so. And we have a lot of mutual friends that we carry a lot of respect for. And I carry a lot of respect for you, Todd. And I'm going to drill you a little bit tonight. I'm going to ask you some questions. And I may have not have given you a fair introduction, but I just want to, everyone knows how much I respect you. I just want you to know that. but I'm going to drill you a little bit. This is an interview. Todd, I have to ask you, what is the one key factor in your opinion that will help young brand partners, young representatives, young distributors just starting in their profession? What do they need more than anything else when they first get started, other than just a overwhelming bath of excitement and enthusiasm? Outside of the euphoric behaviors, what do they need more than anything else?
Well, I mean, they obviously need to take action. They need to do something. And unfortunately, what happens is a lot of people get really excited about network marketing, and then they get paralyzed, and their fear of being an entrepreneur in network marketing stops them from doing anything. And a lot of it, unfortunately, has to do with, they see the opportunity, they see the company, the product or whatever that they're involved in, and then the reality of actually doing the business sets in, and it scares the crap out of them. And unfortunately, the network marketing profession, I've been in it for 26 years now, and I know you've been in it for at least that long, if not longer. I wouldn't say that we're on trial, but people have this idea of who we are. And what's fascinating to me is some people who have an idea or concept of what we are as a profession don't have a damn clue as to what we are. In fact, I interviewed a woman for a series I produced, and she blew off network marketing for a long time. Like, I would never touch network marketing. But the funny thing is, she was basing that on not having any experience, not a friend that did it, not a neighbor, not having any knowledge, and she blew it off. And then her babysitter or her daughter was babysitting for a friend, and they were introducing her, and she finally gave in. And she said, if you tell me about this network marketing crap again, I'm never going to talk to you. My babysitter's my daughter's not going to babysit for you. And she goes, fine, I'll go to this meeting. And she went to a meeting and finally looked at it. And in the interview, she's telling me, she was literally trying to kick myself in my own rear end because I saw it. It made sense to me. So I think people have to give themselves a chance to experience what we experience in network marketing and not care so much about what others think. I mean, we live in this, especially like Facebook. I mean, think about it. Facebook is the most vanity-driven deal on the planet. I mean, I'm on Facebook and we post stuff, seeking approval. Oh my God, will you like my comment? Will you share it? I hope you like my photo. And we're always seeking approval, but in network marketing, you've got to stop seeking approval. If you see network marketing and it makes sense to you, then get your butt in gear and do something with it and not care so much about what other people think. Because here's the reality. They're already thinking something about you anyhow. They're already judging you regardless of whether you're involved in a network marketing opportunity or not. Give yourself a chance and get yourself in gear and take some action and do something with it.
So tell us something. There's going to be a lot of people listening to this call throughout the recording because it's sent out through other countries, and some of these other people send it out actually even with subscript with their languages on it. And this is going to reach out to thousands of people with different cultures out there. In the United States, we have a melting pot of almost every culture there is until they become Americanized somewhat, and it changes it to a certain point. The cultures throughout the world, the one thing that I've noticed that here in the United States, we don't really have what I call tribes. It's not a tribal scenario here in the United States. When you get outside of the United States, you have a company that launches other countries, and all of a sudden they walk into a tribal scenario. There's pluses and minuses about tribes, right? I know I'm going to throw you some curves. There are pluses and minuses about existing tribal scenarios because there's obviously power within tribes. There's obviously differences that tribes have and the way they do things differently. Can you tell me, in your opinion, what are the common denominators, in your opinion, between one tribe and another, a country and another, and the way that network marketing works all over the world? Because you've traveled everywhere. You've seen some common denominators. What stands out to you the most so that the people who are listening, that they hear those common denominators, they understand that they're not so different than someone else?
That's a great question. And I've had a chance to speak in now, I think, 23 different countries on the subject of network marketing success. And I've been in some of these countries, and they say, well, we're different. And I realize that culturally, countries are different, languages are different, but the human condition is the same. Everyone wants to have a great life, and the way our world works, if in order to have a better life, you need to have a little bit more money. And fortunately, with what network marketing provides, it provides a vehicle for, and I don't even like using the term the average person, allows people to participate in a business that truly doesn't have any limits on it. So the similarity is that no matter what country you go into, people want to succeed. They want to have success. And they also, because human beings, no matter what race they are, no matter what religion, no matter what country, they also have emotions. They're all the same cells, the same beings. It may look a little bit different, but we all have fear and we all have feelings. And so in every country I go into to speak, it is the same. There are extreme similarities in terms of how people feel. And I can go into Malaysia, or I can go into Japan, or I can go into Europe or South Africa or Australia, and people are still concerned about what others think about their involvement in a business. Now, of course, you get involved in it and go into a different country, like Asia, and some of these, especially Asia, is a very particularly unique situation where when you talk about tribes, you can go into Asia and open up a company and put 8,000, 10,000 people in it in a relatively short period of time. But along with that, there tends to be a little more game playing and a little less loyalty than you might see in other countries. It's almost like the East is the Wild West in network marketing. And I don't know if people in other countries will necessarily relate to that, but the Wild West was kind of when there wasn't a whole lot of rules and laws that were going on. And in the United States, for example, we've got rules and regulations and pretty strict guidelines that we operate in network marketing, and you can't necessarily, there's just a lot of things that you can't get away with that people, I think, try to get away with in other companies or countries. And I think the important thing regardless is, if you're operating from an ethical standpoint, if you're doing things that, people know what's right and what's wrong. So it doesn't matter what country you're in, what language you speak, if you're doing something and if it's right, and if you're doing something and it's wrong. The important thing is, if you want to last in network marketing, you do things that are right. You treat people right. You do business right. And I don't even have to give examples of right versus wrong, because people watching this totally know what's right and what's not right. And survival, like I've been, and like you've been in this profession for a long period of time. I kind of see myself as a survivor, having been in the profession for now like 25, 26 years. And the reason I've been able to survive and thrive for as long as I have is because I don't do people over. You'd be hard pressed to go find somebody, oh yeah, Falcone, that's a bad guy, he did me over, because that's just not in my blood. That's not part of my DNA to try to get what's good for me, and somebody else doesn't benefit as a result of it. It's like the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Think win-win, and there is no other way to think if you're looking to stay present in a business long term, rather than thinking and operating in a win-win situation.
Isn't it amazing that everywhere you go, I know that networkers run into this, every country I have ever been in, they always say, well, you don't understand. It's harder to do it here than it is in any other country, because everyone here has already heard about network marketing. Or you constantly hear, well, it's different in our country than it is any other country. I've heard this in every country I've been in.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is exactly what you just said. We're all human. Everyone wants a better life, and everyone wants to work for it. The different cultures may be a little different, but the one thing I can guarantee you is it doesn't matter if it's the U.S. or if it's Korea, if it's Japan, if it's Russia, if it's Australia, New Zealand, if it's Colombia, if it's Mexico. Everyone is going to tell you, oh, it's different here because so many people have already heard about there's a lot of network marketing companies here. Years ago, back in I've been doing it for 38 years. Years ago, in the pioneer days, when a lot of countries were not open for network marketing, we opened them. We initiated it into those countries many times. Then we could say it was different. We could say it was different the other way. This is new. We got to grab hold of it. But one thing that I can tell you, and this is where you come across, Todd. You teach people how to get started. You teach people how to get to those first levels of success. That's what we're doing here, right? Yeah. You teach people how to make that close, how to close the sale without necessarily being a hard pressured salesperson, right?
Absolutely.
So you're teaching people not to be that pushy, eccentric, down your jugular vein to get the sale. You're trying to help people to understand a systematic approach, right?
Absolutely.
What do you do in that? How do you close? How do you close someone? What is the secret to working all the way through the steps? And finally, when they're about to close, what do you do to close that person? What is the art of closing to you?
That's a very timely question, considering I literally just wrapped up a book today that's on the subject of overcoming objections and closing. So it's pretty near and dear to my heart. I think, closing really starts at the beginning. It's not, okay, I'm closing this person at the end. And I realize that, in network marketing, some people don't see us as, we share stuff. Like, we don't sell, we share. And I realize that closing is a sales term, but, I don't know any other better term to use than closing. And, if you're involved in a network marketing company, then you do sell stuff. You sell your products or services, and you certainly do sell your opportunity. Closing starts from the beginning. It has to do with your the way you act, the way you are, your commitment level, your consistency and ways of being, how people view you, how they see you. Do they view you and see you as somebody that sticks to their commitments, that's reliable? Or do they see you, can I count on you? Like, if they were to ask the question to themselves, can I count on you? Can I rely on you? Are you seen as that? If you're an unreliable person that's not consistent in the way you do things, then you're really not likely to attract anybody, which is the beginning of creating success in network marketing. I think the second thing is your ability to create a connection with someone, a real connection, not like, hey, let me try to get something from you. Let me try to close you. Let me try to sell you on something. Your ability to close more business is more about solving someone's problems and being great at listening and asking questions and uncovering whether or not somebody even has a dissatisfaction or need. I can't sponsor somebody into a network marketing business if they don't have some level of some unsatisfied need, desire, or something else that's going on. And the only way for me to really identify that is to ask them questions like, hey, what do you do for a living? Oh, that's awesome. How long have you been doing that? Oh, really? That's great. You must love doing that. That seems like a really cool job. Well, I kind of like it, but what is it exactly that you really don't like about it? Well, I don't like the fact that I'm, working 60 hours a week and I'm gone from my family all the time and I never see my kids. Oh, well, that's interesting. Is working that much? Is that a challenge for your family life? Oh my God, I couldn't even tell you how bad it is. My wife's like always complaining about how long I'm gone and so on and so forth. Well, let me ask you a question. Now that you said that, if I could show you a plan that would enable you to get some of your time back and spend more time with your family and make, as much money as you're making now and maybe a little bit more, is that something that you might be inclined to take a look at? Oh yeah, of course I would. So I've identified, a challenge, and they've identified for themselves that they have a need or dissatisfaction. I didn't throw my opportunity down that person's throat. And there's something really powerful about asking questions and listening. There's a phrase that I use all the time at my seminars, and I didn't make it up. It comes out of the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And it's be genuinely interested, not interesting. And oftentimes we get really excited in network marketing and we want to tell people about our business and tell them. And I understand enthusiasm. I understand, and you need to be enthusiastic and passionate about what you're doing, but you're better off if you just find calm down a little bit and ask somebody some questions and show real authentic interest in who they are and what they're about. And the cool thing is they'll actually tell you whether, so like, for example, people will go, well, do I lead with the product or do I lead with the business? And my answer is yes. And then they look at me, what are you talking about? Well, it depends. It depends on the situation. It depends on if you're actually engaging someone in a real authentic conversation. They'll tell you if they have, for example, if you're in a health company, if they have a health challenge or if they're not satisfied with their job or they're stressed or they're working too much or whatever the situation might be, they'll tell you. And then closing is just kind of an end result of all of that. In fact, what's fascinating, I haven't printed it out yet, but I literally finished the book today. And, I covered a lot about overcoming objections and very detailed overcoming objections in that book. And then the closing section was only about, I think it was like 6 pages. And the overcoming objections was like 15 pages of the book. So in network marketing, I don't have like some magical, mystical close. You share somebody your opportunity. You get them the information that they need for themselves to make an informed decision. And you address their questions or objections as they come along, and then you kind of run out of questions. And when you run out of questions, the way I close, and this is why my closing section is so short, is we get to the end of the questions. I say, Jeff, do you have any other questions? And you're like, no, not really. I'm like, great. Well, why don't I show you the different options that you have in getting started with our company? There's option A. You can start out with a $50 distributor kit, and that's for somebody that's, kind of testing the waters and really not ready to fully commit. And then option B is our business builders kit, which is $499, and it gets you this, this, and this, which enables you to do these great things. Which one makes the most sense for you? So I don't really have a tricky methodology for closing. It's just listening and paying attention and serving people more than anything else.
Exactly. Now, one of the things you talked about objections, and one of the things that we coach in the sustained prosperity system is that we need to overcome certain things. The 2 worst enemies that people need to overcome when they're first starting in the business is the 2 enemies, which are rejection and procrastination. And they're built around the objection mode. Rejection and procrastination. Those are emotional or physical impacts on a negative level. Obviously, rejection is an emotional battle. It's an emotional enemy. Rejection is something that you feel when someone doesn't say yes quick enough. And so we need to build that relationship and get them to that point of trust so that we can take them to that commitment level. And we understand that. But those objections, the reason that people get rejections in the first place more than they should is because they're trying to drive them to a yes before they should. They're trying to drive them to that yes before they should be driving them to that maybe. They're trying to drive them to that yes before they get them to that contemplation stage. People are pushy sometimes. You notice they attack people with their product. Oh, you got to. There was this. I don't know if you remember that one company. I'm not even going to remember. I'm not going to mention the name. I'm not going to mention the name. It was a juice deal, and there was this family. They were up in the stands watching a football game in Utah, and this guy gets hurt on the field, and he's down on the field. He's down. I mean, he's down, and the paramedics come in, and all the coaches come in, and all of a sudden, this woman comes running down out of the stands with a bottle of juice. She said, "Here, give him this. Give him this." It's like, okay, she was convinced that her product was going to cure everything. It's probably going to raise the dead, and we know those kind of people. So those people are going to be overbearing to the point where sometimes they're going to get rejection because people are not going to say yes to them. They're going to run from them. But your objections that you're trying to help people overcome, you're working them through a process. You're teaching them a process of how to overcome the objection, overcome that emotion of rejection when they get objection, right? How do you do that? What do you tell those people? How do you tell them to monitor it and to channel it and to be able to challenge their own emotions when they are crying and they feel like they just don't, they don't feel like they can do this. They don't feel like they can make it work. They feel like no one takes them serious. They feel like maybe they're too young, or they're a female, or they're a male, or they're old, or they're whatever, they're fat or ugly or whatever. They just don't feel like anyone takes them serious. What do you tell people to tell those types of people that are going through that when it's a natural response to be rejected and those objections come your way?
Well, I started when I was 22 years of age, and I was not accepted. I got a lot of people that were not interested, that did not respond favorably. I have a very different viewpoint, I think, than a lot of people on the concept of rejection. The way I don't really believe that in network marketing we get rejected. People feel that they're rejected, and they say, "Oh, I don't like being rejected." And honestly, I don't like being rejected either. No human being likes being rejected. I mean, what's the opposite of rejection is acceptance. And so humans by nature, we want to be accepted. We want to be embraced. And if we feel that we're not being embraced, it's a very tough situation. If I ask somebody out on a date and she says, "Oh my gosh, you kidding me? I would never go out with you. You're ugly. Your breath stinks. You have BO and your teeth are crooked. Your shoes are scuffed up and you got no personality and you got dirt underneath your fingernails. Get the hell away from me." That's rejection. I'm personally asking that person out and she's rejecting me. The way I look at it in network marketing, I teach this in a lot of my coaching, is rejection is a decision to take something personally. It's a decision to have an emotional attachment to the way that person responds to you. So I really don't think there is rejection at all in network marketing, only those that choose to feel rejected. So there are objections or questions or resistance that comes along. And that's, to me, when somebody gives me an objection, I actually look at that as a positive thing, because that's somebody that's showing interest but concerned. So they're showing some level of interest, but then they're concerned about something. They're concerned, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, that seems expensive, I tried something, I heard something, is this one of those things, whatever the objection is. And then our job as network marketers is to stay calm, cool, and collected, not get defensive, never argue with these people, and simply address what their question is. So a question and an objection are fairly similar, but I just don't really believe that rejection even needs to be part of the picture unless somebody chooses to feel that way. The whole thing, one thing about us as humans, every moment, every second of every day, we get the opportunity to choose. Like the other day, I was having a really great day, and I've been married for 19 years. And I came back from a couple meetings, and my wife said something, and she wasn't having a good day like I was having. And she projected this, and she was just not having a good experience at that time, which I have bad days. And I remember, because I had this moment, I had this second, and I was having a great day. I had an amazing, super positive, productive, fantastic day. And I come in and it's like, oh, kids are screaming and she's not having a good time. And I had to stop for a second and choose, because it would have been easy for me to take that energy and take it personally. I'd been gone all day. It wasn't me. There was just stuff that was going on. And I had two choices. I could either embrace that and take it personally, or I could stay in the same zone that I was in, this positive, upbeat zone. And in that case, I made the decision that I'm not going to allow that particular situation to affect my emotional condition. So I think the biggest suggestion that I have for people, and this is a big one, is not allowing yourself to become emotionally attached to the things that people do. I mean, look, Jeff, I mean, come on. You and I have been in this business for so long. Probably the greatest challenge that we have as network marketers is the crazy stuff people do. It's like we shake our heads like, I should have a hole buried in my head from the amount of times I've had to scratch it going, what is that? I mean, what are you doing? People are just interesting. And I've had to learn through this business to not allow myself to be drawn into that stuff. I mean, if somebody says, oh my God, that's a stupid business idea, I can't even believe you would even talk to me about that, you can either get defensive and allow that to penetrate you, or you can just think to yourself, you know what, that's a person who they just might not get it, and they're just kind of saying no to themselves, and that's okay. I'm not going to let it affect me. And I really believe that as network marketers, if you're going to be successful in this business, that you have to make the conscious decision not to allow it to affect you. Just like, I mean, let's take it out of network marketing for a second. You're driving down the street and some dude cuts you off on the road, just violently cuts you off and slams on his brakes, and you're just kind of cruising along, listening to some Steely Dan or whatever you listen to, and having a good time, singing in your car. And you got two choices right then and there. You could be like, come on, you know, flip the guy out. I didn't use a finger, by the way. It was just a fist. Or you can be like, hey, go ahead, man. Looks to me like you're in a hurry, and you can kind of lay back a little bit and let them do their thing. And understand that different people respond to the same exact situation in different ways. And it's a choice. It's not some automatic response. It's not like this, your nervous system makes you do that. It's like you're choosing to get mad, angry, violent, or you're choosing to go, dude, you're obviously in way more of a rush than I am, so you go ahead and no worries, man. Enjoy your driving fast thing.
Well, this is an emotional business. It's a relationship marketing business. It's an emotional driven business. And it's amazing. And you're right. I've been in this industry for a long time. I have seen top leaders, younger leaders, owners, top executives within the corporate level. I've seen everyone that you can imagine in a lot of different companies over my career mess up an entire company over the fact that they've done a lot of stupid things. And we invest all of our time and our effort building large organizations, and you think it's going to last forever sometimes, and all of a sudden it falls right through the cracks because someone makes a stupid decision. Or maybe we make stupid decisions because we react like you're talking about, and we just react to anything the wrong way. I mean, used to, and Mario's known me for, gosh, a long time. Mario's known me for many years. He was corporate for 20 years, worked with me many, many times and took care of me because his position in the company has been everything from president of North America to you name it, in a lot of different companies. And he's had to work with the top leaders in the company. And we need to understand there's a big gap between corporate and the field. Corporate doesn't understand the field all the time, and field doesn't understand corporate all the time. Let's face it, corporate is on salary. They're making XXX of a salary. And then here you've got these leaders out here that are having fun, going all over the world, playing on the beaches, having a good party, doing whatever, making so much more than that corporate executive that's having to smile and be supportive and take care of that person and listen to all their whining, as they call into corporate, about every problem there is, right? There's a big gap. And as soon as they hang up, they've been really nice to the distributor, that corporate person. As soon as they hang up, then all the corporate people behind the scenes are like, oh my God, I have to take another call from that person. One more time, I'm going to kill myself, right? That's really the reality of it all. That's what happens. Let's wake up. That's what happens. There's emotions that are driving everything. Mario, I know you're biting into bullets right now to ask Todd a question. I know I just
want to laugh as you're sharing all those things.
I told you we share things on this call that no one else will ever talk about.
And I love that. I absolutely love that. I love when you talk like that, and I love Todd's style as well. You know, very direct and to the point. And I love the call tonight.
Well, Mario's been corporate for so many years. He's in the field now for the first time, but he's been corporate for so many years. He knows what I'm talking about. I mean, my gosh, me and another buddy of mine talked about writing a book to bridge the understanding, you know, between corporate and the field, because the field just lives in this blissful, euphoric world of, oh my God, I drink the punch, and this is the most awesome product in the world, and I'm going to live forever till I'm 150 years old, and I'm going to look like I'm 20. I'm going to do whatever, and it's just like amazing how they just get caught up in the culture so much it becomes a cult, right? It's just amazing. And then the corporate world is like, oh my gosh, you know, if we get one more phone call from someone who makes 10 times more than me, and they're whining about the chocolate bar being sprinkled with vanilla, one more time, I'm gonna go nuts. And
it's 4:59
in right this now. Office right now, right? Right?
My eyes water. Stop it, man.
Am I hitting a note? Does this relate? Do you get this? You know, Todd, you and I have been behind the scenes corporately too, so we understand the corporate side as well. So we can kind of beat up on both sides. Mario, what's your? I know you're anxious to ask something here, so I'm just going to let you pull in.
Well, First of all, Todd, thanks for being on the call tonight. I absolutely love your style and what you're sharing with us, and learned many things. I've taken many notes. One thing that, as Jef mentioned, I've known him for many, many years, and he's personally responsible for taking me from the corporate side after 20 years over to the distributor side, and absolutely love it. But there is, like he said, a difference. There's a huge difference. And so I consider myself still a rookie and learning, and I'm learning a lot. And I feel like it's invaluable to have both sides, you know, corporate and distributor. You touched on us for a second on social media. And I know you train about many different things. What's your, as I get this question as I'm building, you know, in the US and other countries, especially with the younger generation, about social media. What's your take on social media and using it to build your business?
Well, I mean, obviously Facebook is, I mean, we're talking, let's talk Facebook for a second, since that's probably the most prevalent social media platform. Obviously there's a bunch of others, you know, Snapchat and Twitter and LinkedIn and all that, but most people are on Facebook. I think we're in a very pivotal, amazing time in network marketing where we have access to people that we never had access to in a way that is magnifying like it's never been before. So, you know, our list can be so much bigger, and we have so much more reach and ability to meet new people just through Facebook alone. I think it's an extremely valuable and viable way of building a network marketing business. I do have a very specific take on social media. I think that's twofold. Number one, I guess I'll start with this, is if you, I have a lot of friends in network marketing that have built very big businesses almost exclusively using Facebook. And I use Facebook an awful lot. I mean, I have my business page. I've got my personal page. I'm an extremely active person on Facebook. I've got different groups, private groups, and so on. But if you lean too heavily on it, the analogy that it's like, if you lean too heavily on Facebook, it's like building a house on rented land. You don't own Facebook. And while they give us the liberty of having access to all these people and engaging and interacting with all these people, they could do whatever they want at any time. They're constantly changing their algorithms and the way they do things, and how many people see your posts and all of that. And in fact, a couple months ago, and I behaved myself very well on Facebook, I got my account shut down. Like, I woke up one morning and my page was gone. And I thought, oh my God, this is not a good situation. And it took me 5 days to get the account turned back on. It was and I still don't even know exactly why I got shut down. But what that did for me was made me realize this is rented land. And if you rely too heavily on Facebook as the primary means of building your business, and you're not doing other things, then you're going to be in for a problem if something were to happen. And you can't predict it. Tomorrow they could shut down your account, or tomorrow they could change the rules. So when I say that, I would say the most important thing is make sure you take your Facebook relationships and turn them into real relationships. So I make it a point to out people through my social media outlets to contact them and make sure we exchange personal contact information. I got your phone, I got your email address. We've actually talked. I use the green dots on the right side of the screen to instant message people, create a real relationship, like a Facebook relationship. And you know, in the past probably 6 months, I've taken at least 500 or 600 people that I didn't have their contact, because if Facebook, something happened with them tomorrow and they said, you can't do this anymore, I can still make contact with them. But if I hadn't done that, I'd be like, what happened to my friend on Facebook that I don't, you know, like Mario, this is the first time we've seen each other. I know I looked at your Facebook page right before we started this session. But if I wanted to contact you and Facebook shut you or I down in the next 24 hours, we wouldn't be able to contact each other. Right. So that's I think an important thing. And the second thing is how you act on Facebook is really important. These people that get on there and they're like, business, 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 join me, instant message me, post, you know, join me. It's like, nobody wants to see that. There's nothing wrong with talking about your business on social media and putting up a post and talking about stuff. But if, like, I saw a page yesterday and it's like the last 11 posts were promote. And what happens is people begin to tune out. So you have to understand how to operate in social media where people want to know you. and they want to get to know you. And one of the things that you do is you're involved in a business. You're an entrepreneur, and there are a lot of great ways that you can get people to be interested and reach out to you because of what you do. But by being all business, promote, it's not a really wise idea. It turns people off rather than turns them on.
It's a good point. It's a real good point. I had the same thing happen to me recently with my Facebook, if you remember. And my Facebook was shut down for almost 3 weeks. And that was tough. It's really tough. I didn't realize until that happened how much that I was using Facebook and the groups and the pages to promote and to connect with people. And even the private messenger, was shut down because that's connected to your Facebook. And we use that almost exclusively instead of emails nowadays. I mean, it's exchanging the way that we've communicated. Facebook has impacted the way that we communicate. So I totally agree with you, Todd. It's rented space. I've never heard of it spoken that way, and I agree with you 100%. What is your options? I know we're coming here to the end of the call. You may be carrying it over just a minute or two, and because it's just an honor to have you on our call with us. But what is the funnel marketing strategy today? What is the best way to funnel market so that people can stay in communication and draw the leads in, or draw their connections in, or draw their relationships in? What's your best method as far as what I would call funnel marketing?
When I hear the term funnel marketing, my mind goes directly to internet marketing, but I'm going to answer it a little bit differently. If I invite people into my funnel, to me, it's just being cool. I mean, it's just being a nice, engaging, fun, cool person to be around. And because you're enjoyable, you're pleasurable, people like you the way you are, it's like, I just want to be around you. Like we've all met people that are so, that charisma that they have, they're just, you almost literally want to go rub up on them and like, can I get some of that? Because there's something about that person that causes you to just want to touch them. If can I have some of that really cool positive energy? So I think there is something about just being positive and have this, think about what is charisma. Charisma is this attractiveness or charm that somebody has. And what makes a person charismatic? Well, they're positive. They're always, every time you're around them, they make you feel good. They compliment you. It's genuine. It's real. There's something that every time you're around them, you feel good after you were around them. So without using it as an internet term, I think just being a really positive, fun, cool person versus that's terrible. No, I hate that. That's terrible.
You're paralleling what Tom Chenault said just a few weeks ago when we had him as a guest. Tom said, I've realized that it's not how smart I am, it's how nice I am that wins people.
Yeah, totally. And I love Tom. He's a great dude.
And that is absolutely a parallel to what he said. It is that. And I get caught up. I'm guilty. I get caught up so much because I'm so serious about business. I get caught up sometimes that when I realize that we're here at a convention and we're here at other things, and I get caught up knowing that business mind clicks in so strong with me. I'm so focused on business that sometimes I don't realize that I have jumped into a long conversation about business instead of actually just really making that person feel like, wow, it was good to meet Jef. It was really good to have that conversation with him, and them not just, sometimes they just need to walk away feeling good and not feeling more knowledgeable. They need to walk away feeling good and not feeling like, okay, I just wanted to meet him. I didn't know I was going to get a lecture. And, I'm guilty. I'm guilty of it. If anyone is guilty, I'm guilty. And I've been practicing to do better, but I find myself falling into that trap more and more than I want to. And it's getting better, but it's not as good as it should be. You brought out some good points, Todd, and cap it off because we're going to bring the call to a close. our broadcast to a close. It's such a pleasure to have you on our Sustained Prosperity System broadcast. This is going to be going out to a lot of people here in the next 24 to 48 hours. And I want you to know that I respect you, or you would not be on this call. I can tell you that. I respect you. And I think we have a lot in common. Attitudes have a lot in common, and we like to have a good time, and we also are very serious, but we also love to instruct and train and help people to do a lot of different things for their lives and change their lives and gain a new perspective. Cap it off. Give us a bullet. Give us a gold nugget here at the end of the call that we can take home, so everyone knows that we had an icing on the cake.
Well, first of all, I really appreciate the opportunity of being here with both of you guys, and I have a lot of respect for you, and I know you're a lifer in this profession, and you've added a tremendous amount of value to the network marketing space, and you know, it is an honor to be here and to be able to share with your audience and your listeners. You know, it's kind of an interesting question when you ask that, like the end question, like what's the one big tip or whatever, and you know as well as I do, there was no preparation for this interview. I had no idea what you were going to ask me, and it's been fun. You know, if it comes down to it, and I'm thinking about the people that are watching. Look, you've gotten yourself involved in network marketing. Do yourself a favor and, number one, draw a line in the sand. A distributor ID number is nice. The fact that you show up for your conferences is great. But draw a line in the sand, and the other side of that line is, I'm going to do this until I succeed. I don't have an exit option, and I can't leave. I can't quit. I can't go back to doing whatever I was doing before. Not that, I mean, in fact, even if you're part-time, it doesn't mean that you came into network marketing full-time and you can't still work your job. My point is, too many people come in here and they essentially give it a shot, and if it doesn't work out on their own timeline that they've set for themselves, which in most cases it won't, oftentimes we under-deliver on our own expectations of our performance, that you draw a line in the sand, you go, you know what, I'm going to do this business until I succeed. There is no other option. And the last thing I'll say is, when you draw a line in the sand like that, if you truly draw a line in the sand and success is your only option, and failing or quitting is not even an alternative anymore, then what will happen for you is you'll end up working your business as if your life depended on it. And when you choose to work your business as if your life depended on it, like I'll give you an example. If literally tomorrow you didn't have a job, you didn't have any income, and you had to make your network marketing business work in order to feed your kids, in order to have a roof over your head, most people would probably work very differently than they are right now. If that's the case, then why not do it now? Why not choose to work as if your life depended on it? Because when you do, your life will depend on it. So that's all I got to say.
That's a great cap off. Don't you agree, Mario?
Absolutely.
And thank you so much, Todd. Thank you for being our guest, our featured guest this evening.
Thank you, Todd.
And we do appreciate that. And actually, if you could send us some information on your book soon, we'd love to be able to publish that on the website and let everyone know where to get your new book. And what's the name of the new book coming out? Okay, we can't talk about it.
We're still working on the final title. Like, I literally finished writing it today. Like 3 hours ago, I finished writing the book. So there's a couple of last minute details. So I'm not quite ready to release the title yet because we might change it. Okay,
it's a secret. So we're not going to talk about the book tonight. We're going to wait and promote it. When you get the title, we get it published, we'll have to get you back on and plug the book, and we'll talk about the different chapters in the book. And I'll have to read the book so I can specifically pull on you from what the book is actually saying. How about that? We'll do that.
That's perfect.
Absolutely. Thank you, Todd. Appreciate you so much. Thank you, Mario.
Thank you, Jeff.
Mario, we'll let you have the call here. Next week, we have Big Al, Tom Schreider, legend, not just in his own mind, in our own industry, in our profession. This guy is absolutely amazing. The guy has such wit. Don't you agree, Todd? I mean, Big Al has wit. I mean, it comes out of these little short snips.
Yeah, no,
I'm like the Rodney Dangerfield of network marketing.
Tom is an amazing man. I've spoken with him all over the world, and he is quite he is a legend in the profession. So the folks that are plugging into that will be in for a treat. I appreciate you, Mario, for plugging in, and Jeff, thanks again as well for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Todd. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate you joining us tonight. And Jeff, I know you're busy out there in St. Louis, so appreciate you and look forward to hearing from you every Thursday night. As Jeff mentioned, we have a few speakers coming up. Next week, we have on April 14th, Big Al. And then on April 21st, Orrin Woodward. And April 28th, Margie Alaprandi. So we have some great speakers to look forward to. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And look out for the recorded call that will be coming your way. Make sure you register and have a great evening. Thank you all. Have a good night.